Documentary is a part of our communication skill project. Our topic is comparisons of public and private sectors. For this, we conducted surveys, interviews to acquire our results. We interviewed professionals currently working in public or private sectors and discussed the current issues regarding both sectors. All the work done is self made by our team members, with all copyrights reserved.
My name is Dr. I am the healthcare manager and healthcare director for this private hospital. We are a 40-bed hospital and almost 14 years old. This is our 15th year. We started in 1998.
My name is Akhter and I started my career in private sector and healthcare sector, as you know, in the hospital. At that time I was a simple graduate. I did my BSc in botany, zoology, chemistry, which is a field of medical. And then after that I started as administration secretary. And then I did my masters in business administration during my job.
My name is Dr. Ahmed. I've done my PhD from USA and been head of quite a lot of organizations in Pakistan and abroad as well. And currently I'm running my own consultancy firm, advising into the management excellence perspectives of a lot of organizations, government and private sector.
If you see that there are many facilities offered in the government sector, such as pension, you mentioned that, then there is medical facility. When we move towards railway and CIA, there is a facility of travel which is free. So most of the people say that it should not be there because most of the people use it for the wrong use and they misuse it and they may propagate this to their relatives and which in the end harms the government and the national treasure. So what are your comments?
My comments are that misuse is basically a result of mismanagement. If you administer a particular benefit correctly in the perspectives that they are meant to be only for the employees or whoever is entitled as per the company policy, it's a good benefit, to retain quality employees. But in Pakistan, normally, this my personal comment would be that this job guarantee thing that the government employment carries, that is something that is very wrong. You cannot dismiss any employee. There are rules and regulations to dismiss an employee, but my experience is that in the last 10 years, when the last government, the Musharraf's government came in and they brought in the concept of contractual employees within the government structure. So the contractual employees actually perform better than the employees who are on a 60 years tenure track. So I personally feel that the benefits, whatever they decide for an organization, are good, but it's the people who are administering those benefits, they really play dirty in terms of the administration of those benefits. So, and a big factor that is affecting the actual administration of benefits in terms of the employees is the regular employment structure that carries on till the age of 60. You cannot really, the general impression taken by the employees is that we are untouchables. So they really then do not follow a lot of rules, which is contagious for the
So
organization.
don't you think there should be equality between the private
I
and
personally feel that in the government sector, there should be equality of terms and conditions of all the grade structures in the government sector. Because you cannot really, all over the world, the government sector carries pension benefit. So I think that it should be there. But in Pakistan, to have a 60 years employment category is wrong. I believe that everybody should be on the contractual 5 years limit, and you renew their contract after 5 years. And let's say if somebody completes a 20 years tenure, then he qualifies for the pension. He should not be qualifying for the pension from day one. This is something that is hurting Pakistani government organizations a lot.
Okay, you said that you have been provided with a lot of good environment in your sector. And do you think that the same environment is given to the government sectors as well?
Well, the main difference is obviously is in my view, is the accountability. I'm just going to turn this off so this doesn't. In the government sector, they have more resources. Definitely, they have access to more resources. But the only difference is in terms of management. In the private sector, our resources, as I said, we are a privately owned healthcare facility. That means we have funded this from our own resources. So our resources definitely cannot be compared to the government. They're very limited. But the only advantage you have in the private sector is that you feel responsible, because when the customer or the patient who is coming to you, in our case, which is all our customers are usually patients. So we have to deliver to them, exceptional quality or good quality service. Otherwise, they will pick and choose and move to another facility. In case of the government or any government facility or public health facility or a public office, they do not really cater for the quality. So they miss that aspect, that they have to deliver a certain aspect or a certain level of quality to their customers. And I think that is the advantage you have, that here we are always being judged by our customer, and they are, because they are paying out of their pocket, or their company or their organization is paying out of their pocket, and so they can choose. Whereas in the government sector, they know that these people who are coming from maybe the rural sector or from the lower segments of the society or marginalized groups of societies, they have no choice but to go to them, because they don't have any extra money and they cannot choose. So the element that is missing in the public sector is mostly, I think, is the accountability aspect and the quality aspect. They don't have those targets. Those targets have not been defined, or even if they are defined, they are not really implemented. So the accountability aspect is missing, and so therefore the people who are managing the organizations, they really don't give that priority to make sure that their customers are looked after. They don't make sure that their life is made easier. They don't make sure that when they're delivering the service, they are looking after all the aspects that would make the customer's experience more comfortable and convenient.
Okay. So, do you hire people as well?
Yes.
Okay. So, what preference do you put in front of people? If for example, if there is a person comes to you who has a government job, who has a government experience on his back, and there's another one which has graduated from a very good university, and he's come to you and he's looking for a job. Let's say maybe.
We normally prefer the young lot, basically, who has completed his job, because he is energetic. Normally in the fields which are typically from health sector, that is nursing, medical officers, we prefer the young lot. That is who completed their graduations in recent time. So normally we have, but हमारी कहीं पे मजबूरी भी है कि गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर को हम छोड़ नहीं सकते, because all the nursing institutions are owned by government sector. You know that all the nursing schools are in government hospitals. So we have to hire those government government-owned institution, the students from the government-owned institutions. This is और नॉर्मली जहाँ पे प्राइवेट सेक्टर यूनिवर्सिटीज़ का ताल्लुक है तो हम कोशिश करते हैं कि जहाँ पे अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के लोग हमारे पास, क्योंकि अकाउंट्स में, बिलिंग में, यहाँ पे नॉर्मली हमारे पास जो MBAs आते हैं लड़के, या मिनिमम BBAs या BCom, ये हमारा लेवल है नॉर्मली जो हम ऑफिस में हायर करें। तो ये लोग अच्छी यूनिवर्सिटी से हों और फ्रेश हों तो हम प्रेफर करें।
My question would be that why did you prefer working in a private sector rather than government sector? Is this the case of management or responsibility?
In my case, I have worked in some of the semi-government organizations, but if I compare myself or my limited experience working in different organizations, I think working in the private sector you have more flexibility, you have more liberty to do as you choose. Whereas in the government sector or the public sector, there is a lot of bureaucracy, and that kind of ties your hands. Now, because of that, people who might be really very good in their skills, or they might be very good in the sense that they could be good for the customers, they could be good for the country, they could be good for their organization. But because the organizational structure is sometimes so bureaucratic that they are not allowed to take those initiatives. The major difference, you can say shortcoming in the public sector is that it is not promoting initiative, whereas in the private sector it always is promoting initiative. So if, for example, if my staff member comes to me or comes to the management and tells us that, I found this shortcut or this improved way of doing this process, we would welcome it. Whereas in the government or the public sector, if somebody does that, they would either shun it or maybe just not allow that person to really take it further. So a lot of the new innovation and initiative is missing in there. So that sometimes it kills your, you can say, creativity. And that's where I felt that I was stifled within that, framework. But whereas in the private sector, you are at liberty, depending what your pocket or your resources allow you, but you're master of your own destiny. And if you have a good approach, and if you have a good, you can say, target, and you really want to serve your customer in a good way, there's nothing stopping you.
So my question is that while working as an employee, you can see that the workers that are employed in a government organization, they have a lot of facilities like health facility, residence facility, and a pension facility after the job. While talking about the private sector, they more really concentrate on the performance. They have high packages. So don't you think that the facilities given to the employees of a government sector, aren't they hurting a national career?
Well, maybe my answer is going to be a mixed answer, but I think the major myth that we have in our society, and it has been built over decades or so, is that everyone wants to go and work for the government. Mostly, especially youngsters like you, they would love to go and get a permanent job. And why they feel is that they feel there is a sense of security. But the thing is, what happens is, if, for example, if tomorrow you are graduated and you get a permanent job with the government, you'll feel very contented that you have a permanent job, now you're secure, your future is secure. But your future is not secure, and I'll explain why. Because as you go into that system, because the system is not doing a good job, it is not designed in such a way that it will not go on increasing your skill set. So after some time you will just stagnate, and you will start getting used to a very non-creative lifestyle, and eventually your brain cells is probably going to die. So that is the major thing that is missing. Whereas most people think that when they are going to the government sector, they are achieving this sense of security, but in fact they are not getting any sense of security, because they are being injudicious to themselves by killing their creativity. Whereas in other words, if somebody goes out in the private sector and is working maybe on a contractual job, so yes, they might not have the sense of security that, okay, they don't have a permanent job and all that, but the advantage they get. They are learning each day, they're improving their skills, and remember, your employability is equally proportional or directly proportional to your skill set. The better you get chances to learn, that is more important than to be secure and just be sitting there forever. So that is a major impact. And yes, you're right that now we all agree that our government or our present scenario, the biggest loss that we as a government or to the national exchequer is because our government and especially our national, for example, organizations, they're over-employing, they're not efficient, they're not cost efficient. So, for example, if they need one person, they are hiring, instead of one person, they're hiring 10 people, and they're providing them all sorts of perks. So this obviously cannot happen in the private sector. And this is why most of the developed countries have privatized even their, national assets. I'm talking about, for example, if we look at our steel mill, we look at our PIA, we look at our railway, all these things have been privatized in the developed countries. If we take example of UK, they privatized their British Railway many years back. They not only privatized that, they even privatized their rail line. So because of that, the idea, why did they do that? Because they thought that by doing that, they're going to increase the efficiency. The government should not be in the process of management, they should be in the process of policy making and boundary setting. And the private sector is the one that should come out with efficiencies, with how to take things further. And this is how the developed countries have really progressed, which is called managed markets, where they create markets and they manage the market, and the market economics and the market dynamics themselves lead you through, and the country and the economy progresses.
आप यहाँ कितने अरसे से जॉब कर रहे हैं?
मुझे 15 years।
तो
इस फर्म के अंदर
अगर आप यहाँ जॉब कर रहे हैं तो ये प्राइवेट सेक्टर जॉब है, ठीक है? तो अगर आपको मौका मिले कि आप गवर्नमेंट किसी जाके मैनेज करें तो क्या आप जाना पसंद करेंगे या आप किसी पे रहेंगे?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, मैंने बल्कि कोशिश ही कभी नहीं की। नॉर्मली जब से मैंने जॉब स्टार्ट की है, मैं आपको अपना बताऊँ, करियर में जब स्टार्टिंग में था तो BSc का भी मेरा रिजल्ट ही नहीं आया था, तो आई अप्लाइड फॉर जॉब इन गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर, वो भी हेल्थ से रिलेटेड था। और वहाँ पे मेरा ख्याल है 205 लोगों में से मैं टॉप पे आया था, या सेकंड पे था या टॉप पे था, मुझे पता भी नहीं चला उसके बाद। और वो ऐसे पी गए जैसे मैं आया ही नहीं हूँ, मैंने कोई इंटरव्यू टेस्ट दिया नहीं, हालांकि हम थ्रू आउट द डे उन्होंने हमारे से टेस्ट वो पता नहीं क्या क्या कुछ किया। तो बहरहाल फिर उसके बाद मेरा वो जिसको कहते हैं ना कि बिल्कुल ही वो ईमान उठ गया, और फिर मैं प्राइवेट सेक्टर में आ गया, प्राइवेट सेक्टर को ज्वाइन किया, और उसके बाद से लेके अब तक मैंने कोशिश भी नहीं की कि मैं गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में जाऊँ।
आपने तालीम हासिल की वो गवर्नमेंट स्कूल कॉलेज से थी या पब्लिक प्राइवेट थे? क्या तालीम के लिहाज से गवर्नमेंट स्कूल ठीक है?
अच्छे हैं, मैंने पहले कहा इंस्टीट्यूशन वाइज अगर देखें आप तो जो पहले थे, अब मैं अभी की बात इसलिए नहीं करता कि अब चेंज हो रहा है, क्योंकि एजुकेशन से अब मैं तो बाहर हूँ, मुझे तो पता नहीं है पिछले 15 साल से। बट अगर मैं 15 साल पीछे जाऊँ तो गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर्स के जितने भी इंस्टीट्यूशन हैं, टीचिंग के हवाले से मैंने आपको अभी भी बताया, मेडिकल के हमारे पास जो स्टूडेंट्स आ रहे हैं, नर्सिंग के जो आ रहे हैं, ये गवर्नमेंट जो इंस्टीट्यूशंस, गवर्नमेंट के जो इदारे हैं वहाँ से बेहतर है, प्राइवेट वाले जो हैं वो इतने अच्छे नहीं हैं। जबकि आप बाकी चीज़ों में, बाकी फील्ड्स में आप देखें, अगर जिस तरह मतलब बिजनेस के हवाले से जितने स्कूल्स भी हैं आप देख लें, अच्छे सारे जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर में। लेकिन मेडिकल में आप मुझे बता दें कि अच्छा किसको कहेंगे, किंग एडवर्ड को कहेंगे विच इज़ गवर्नमेंट, ठीक है, फादर जनाब को कहेंगे विच इज़ गवर्नमेंट। तो ये डिपेंड करता है आप किस सेक्टर में हैं। अब हेल्थ सेक्टर में ये है इशू फिलहाल, क्या पता बाद में जाके प्राइवेट सेक्टर ऊपर आए।
pattern is that, I would ask you as well, you are all studying, I would like to get into one of the top organizations, like if you are IT professionals, you are doing your IT degree, you would probably like to work for Teradata as compared to Ministry of IT, I guess. Isn't that so? Because of the fact that Teradata or other multinational organizations, they offer a good pay package and they offer a lot of career development opportunity.
And then there is another model which the organization is being run by the public sector, but the oversight, that means at the board level, at the top, at the board of management. The board of management at the top is having representatives not on the basis of politics or trying to give somebody some advantage, but totally on the basis of quality, on the basis of technocrats who can come in and give their expert opinion. They are sitting on the board of management, and they provide the oversight that is required to improve the organization with their direction, with their resources, with their inputs.